Hi, I'm Paul McCambridge from Xperi, and today I'm going to be talking with Hugo from Some Video in France. Hi Hugo.
Hi Paul.
So Hugo, over the past 20 years, Some Video have become a very powerful name in the audio and video retail space in France. You have over 16 stores nationwide and a strong online presence. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and Some Video in general?
Thank you for the invitation and thank you for that question. Yes, Some Video has been online for the past 20 years. I've been here at Some Video for the past 13 years now at the head of supply, communication and marketing, so that's why I'm here with you guys. Supply means I'm talking to all the brands you know, from Sony to Panasonic, up to Marantz, to Denon, and all that kind of guys you know from TV side up to audio side. Some Video is really dedicating on AV and Hi-Fi products. Has been the same for the past 20 years. We are what we call specialists. We were only online and we started to have some shops 8 years ago. Now we got 16 shops from Lille up North France up to Marseille, south of France. Almost, not all the big cities, but almost all of them. We have been doing the same job for the past 20 years, means bringing the best brands, the best product and the best technologies to the consumers. And not only by putting a product online, but also trying to talk about it with our blog, with Facebook, with our YouTube, trying to unveil a new product, try to go deeper in the technologies. And that's thanks to all the brands and all the partners that we can do that day by day.
One of the things that is unique about Some Video is that you have a strong educational side to your online presence. You have great guides, you do blogs, you have a video editorial called Inside Some Video, all of which helps to educate the consumers about choices that they make when they're purchasing audio and video equipment. So has that always been part of the Some Video DNA, or is that something that's come along more recently?
20 years ago, when internet started really strong in France, 20 years ago was the starting of Amazon in France. So it's, for us, we are called such as dinosaurs for the internet sales. The idea behind Some Video, the idea from Philippe Carré and Eric James, the two owners of that company, was exactly to kind of copy or be inspired by a company called Audio Advisor. Audio Advisor, as the name says, is also a lot about doing advice, obviously. This is an easy name. So the idea behind Some Video was exactly that one. The one we are still keeping to go right now, today, 20 years later, was about creating content. At first, only doing some nice product pages, which was our key signature. And then we moved to the blog, trying to do unboxing, trying to test new products, pretty much like a magazine or so on. But also we moved up to social medias and we have YouTube that is working pretty well for the past 3 years. Content has always been the core of Some Video. We got a team of journalists, 10 people working all day long about creating new content for people. And we are going from unboxing and talking about technology up to talking about the music and talking about the movies. So that's been here for a long time.
So I think it's fair to say that 2020 has been a very difficult year for everyone. And with most people having to spend more time at home, inevitably their focus is shifted towards their home entertainment devices. And this has led in many cases to an upgrade of their equipment. So from an audio-video retail perspective, as you look back on 2020, what can you tell us, Hugo, about the kind of buying trends that consumers have had over this period that's very particular?
Of course, as you say so, at first we were pretty afraid because we put a lot of time and energy into that shops we talked about, because last year we opened 6 of those shops and they were supposed to be the core strategy we had for this year. So obviously closing them down for 4 months was a really hard decision. It was really tough because in France we had 2 lockdowns. We're just getting out of that. And that was pretty hard for those guys. We're afraid that the turnover won't be there because people will be afraid, and obviously, as you said, so the consumption of media at home boomed. And we saw that by selling a really big lot of products from all the range we provide. Even from headphones, we have some small ones dedicated for traveling and so on that were out of the business. But the rest of that, talking from TVs to home theaters to audio, really boomed. What we saw, of course, was people really trying to get into the home theaters at home, since cinemas are closed and are still being closed, and it's a shame, but France is going to be closed for probably 1 or 2 months again. We saw people trying to make bigger and bigger installations, trying to go DTS, trying to go multi-room, trying to go all that kind of stuff. So that was pretty smart. And of course, TVs, people really want. I'm not talking about PS5 now, but I'm talking first lockdown was just only for getting new systems. Of course, if you're talking next gen PS5 and Xbox, of course, that was the second wave of people getting new TVs and new system to actually get everything they can out of that nice box. So yes, we saw some new trends. We saw also a lot on the phone and sometimes when the shop opened again, people getting some bigger systems. That was pretty new for us, but we did a lot with Macintosh. We did a lot with high brands. People really want to make themselves a little treat. When you are locked at home, you want the system to be bigger than ever. So we saw that change a lot during 2020.
So Hugo, with more and more people making purchases online, do you think there's an increased savviness in the general public when it comes to making buying decisions for audio and video equipment? And whilst the brand remains paramount when it comes to the importance in the purchase, do you think that ingredient technologies are becoming more influential when people are making those decisions?
Yes, that's another good question. For some video, as I told you in our story, we started online, right? We've been doing the opposite from what people are doing right now. So we started online, now we got the shops. So we were the one actually giving all the information to people, educating the consumers. And those people actually, when they were coming with our content, going to some general stores, they actually knew more stuff about the product than the salesman sometimes. It happens to our own salesman. We're trying to make them as much as we can train, but sometimes the guy is calling on the phone and coming in the shops knows a lot about the products already, and that thanks to us and what we've been doing always. So yes, people are getting more and more into details. So most of the time, it is to be a reassurance, right? It's not just about reading the page you can see online. It's trying to bring some new insight about what you know. But technology, it depends. If you're checking on a big general audience, of course the logos will be really important. But for some video for the past 20 years, we've been talking to experts, people trying to go as far as they can on the system. So we always had a lot of people asking for that small detail that can go a little bit further. It's not that much the trend anymore because it's not really out on the market, but when we used to have like THX, that was a big hit at the time and people were looking for that. Of course now it is the new vertical sound system that are going, the big sound that people are looking for. So you're talking about you guys, and that makes a big difference for the newcomers. And as I said before, on video games, we know that we're gonna have 4K and 8K, HDMI 2.1, but beyond that, you have the sound experience because you can have now some crazy cool sound experience over there as well. In the movies, of course, we're trying to talk about that. Even though in the movies, if somebody from Hollywood is listening, we don't have enough DTS X in French. It's the same for the competitors. It's always in English. It's not in the French language, but when it's subtitled, they're not doing the translation with DTS X. So come on, guys, try to do more, please. But obviously, yes, people are trying to go that way and wanting to get more of those technologies, which is really helpful.
So Hugo, you mentioned home cinema. And for a long time, that's been a big part of the what Sound Video are about in your portfolio. And in your Inside Sound Video series, on each episode you showcase an excellent home cinema installation in France. So with technologies like DTS Play-Fi, for example, that are coming along and offering consumers for the first time really true wireless home cinema, do you see this as an enabler to help people to adopt home cinema installations in their apartments and in their homes over the coming years?
Yeah, this one is a good question, to be honest. I've been in the industry for almost 15 years now, before I was another retailer, and as always, as I can remember about that, the wireless for speakers has always been a question for the past 15 years at least. It was a question of how can I make those rear subwoofer, those rear speakers being wireless. That was a question for the past 15 years. And of course, you got some brand who tried to come that way, and you guys, such as other brands, but of course what we're bringing now with DTS, having that opportunity to have some wireless, of course you still need the power cord, but the wireless speakers to actually make a real sound that makes sense in the home theater way, and not just one soundbar as trying to do its best, roaming all over the place. Now that is something that people are asking for. At some video, we have two types of customers. That's the customers who are the money, the time, and probably the place to actually do an old school home theater. That's where we're trying to put them up to IMAX enhanced technologies, which is pretty nice to get really high end, right? And if you want to do it in your living room, you're gonna try to go wireless because it's gonna be easier to bring those cables over there. So yes, the solution we can bring to the people now with all the systems that exist on the market is really something that pumping people to actually get there.
Hugo, many thanks for taking the time to talk to us today. We wish you every success for the future, and we look forward to many more editions of Some Video.
Thank you, Paul, for the invitation. Thank you, the Xperi team, for that. It was a nice talk with you guys. Obviously, we've got a lot to do together in the years to come, so stay tuned.